488 people were arrested for supporting a banned terrorist organisation in Britain on Saturday. People chanted, "Long live the intifada."
The intifada! Long live the intifada! Long live the intifada!
One man, and English does not appear to be his first language, said F Israel, but didn't want to comment on anti-Semitism. Oh, gosh, I wonder why not.
Cameron, my good sir. Pro-Palestine. Israel. It's good. Thank you. And how do you feel? Recently there was an attack on a synagogue. And I don't know, man. No speak about this. Thank you. No.
Yeah. Another man dressed up as, I guess, Charlie Chaplin. His choice of outfit seemed a bit odd, though, didn't it?
This particular law, this terrorism law, I think we're going to win. I think in November they're going to pretty much... here we go.
Yeah, what do you think he was going for there? Anyway, ban all terror laws? That was there. What, all of them? Why would you want to ban all terror laws, I wonder? There was a placard saying, "I support Hamas resisting occupation." In Camden, London, a masked man walks down the street, blaring out provocative songs and squaring up to people like a lunatic. It's just nuts, isn't it? And today, this video emerged of what appears to be your typical posh North London lefty woman cutting off ribbons for the hostages.
I never understand these people who video people. What's your name? What's your name? If you're so proud of yourself, what's your name?
You're not going to do this.
Not going to do what?
I'm not committing a crime.
Yes, you are.
You're doing something that is...
If I am, then call the police. You call the police and you let them know that you have an issue with this.
You disgusting little human being. You're disgusting.
How?
Yeah, I mean, I think she is. And tomorrow, October the 7th, the anniversary of the mass slaughter of Jews by an Islamist terror group, students across Britain will march on their campuses in support of Palestine. Their due to take place in Glasgow, Birmingham, Sheffield and at least 3 universities in London. Hey, I'm really looking forward to Gary Neville's video calling out that behaviour, aren't you? I mean, this needs to be stopped. We've had mass arrests. I think another good place to start would be mass deportations. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We're going to go across now to Express columnist Carol Malone, journalist Benjamin Butterworth and Reform's Sir Jake Berry. Carol, can I start by talking specifically to you about one of those clips that we just saw there, about that kind of posho North London lefty woman going around cutting ribbons off for the hostages? What kind of despicable behaviour is that?
I'm wondering why we blanked her face out. Well, everyone should know exactly who she is and what she's doing. I mean, it's just appalling. You know, these people, you know, I don't know what they think this government can do to stop what's happening in Gaza. Starmer can't do anything. What do they think Jews in this country can do to stop what's happening in Gaza? They can't, but yet still they're being victimised, and 2 were killed last week on the back of this. You know, and what shocks me now is this government has normalised anti-Semitism on our streets. They have normalised this kind of behaviour from people just like that woman. You know, you said on the marches they're shouting, "Long live intifada." They're openly cheering the deaths of 2 Jewish men last week, and yet they are getting away with it. Nothing is happening to them. If this was the people that Starmer calls the far right thugs, as we saw in Southport last year, they'd be not just arrested, they'd be charged, they'd be in court, and they'd be in jail by now. But how many of the people who were arrested last week, 500 people at the weekend, how many of them have actually been charged, I wonder? How many of them are going to go to jail? I'm guessing not very many of them. But, you know, this government has made a choice now. You know, this country is divided now because of the stance Starmer's in action. He's got a government full of pro-Palestinians who will not allow him to protect Jews in this country. And Jews are literally fighting for their lives in Britain today. Yeah. But Keir Starmer and his organised pro-Palestinian government are going to do nothing to protect them, and they're going to flee. They're going to go from it.
What's seriously worth thinking about is that we had a terrorist attack committed by a jihadi called Jihad just a few days ago, and then on Saturday we saw the most densely populated bunch of, I would argue, anti-Semitic pro-terror group supporting crackpots take to the streets of our capital city. 488 arrests for supporting a proscribed terrorist organisation in one day alone, 48 hours after a bloke tried to kill a load of people at a synagogue. I mean, we can't go on like this. Do we just have to start deporting everyone we possibly can?
Well, I mean, it's very crass, isn't it, particularly when you have a nationally significant terrorism attack against Jewish worshippers in Manchester, to then go out and do this sort of protest. I'm struggling to know what they're kind of protesting about as well, because there's a peace deal that's on the table, and surely they should be going out calling for Hamas, a terrorist organisation, to accept the terms of that peace deal. There is a peace there, ready to go, that Israel has said that it will accept, international support for it, and Hamas is making its mind up whether it will accept it or not.
But Jake, it's not about peace. These are people who just hate Jews.
Yeah, well, what they're going to do the week after the peace deal signed, I wonder. What I would say is about that was 500 arrests.
Yeah.
Where is Sadiq Khan coming out to condemn this? 25 people arrested at the Unite the Kingdom, the sort of Tommy Robinson march. Yeah. And this was 500. So where's the fairness?
I'll come back to you on that. Benjamin, I don't know if we might be able to load up that clip of that girl cutting those ribbons down again, because I think that kind of is the clip of the day, really. If we can get that loaded up in just a second, it's that the girl cutting down those yellow ribbons. It must well help. Oh, there it is. Go on, we can play it. We can play it.
I never understand these people who video people. What's your name? What's your name? If you're so proud of yourself, what's your name?
No, you're not going to do this.
Not going to do what?
I'm not committing a crime.
Yes, you are.
You're doing something that is...
If I am, then call the police. You call the police and you let them know that you have an issue with this.
You disgusting little human being.
Right. It is just about the Jews, actually, isn't it? Because that's not about Palestine. That's not about the IDF. Those are ribbons for the hostages. That's about Jews, isn't it?
You know, those people that went out and protested in the last few days, I want to thank them for doing that, because they've shown us exactly who they really are. It's not about innocent people who have been killed or hurt in Gaza. It's a thinly disguised hatred of Jewish people and their security. There was still Jewish blood on the ground outside that synagogue when these people were raising flags to celebrate and chant in support of the very ideology that those people had just been murdered in the name of. So actually, thank you, because after 2 years, it has never been more obvious that this is not a movement of peace. This is just using the moral mask of Gaza and children that have been hurt to peddle the oldest hatred, which is anti-Semitism.
You know, it's not just them, Ben, it's also our government. You remember when Keir Starmer was campaigning for the Labour Party leadership? It was very useful for him to stand by Israel at that point, and he was trying to eject anti-Semites from the Labour Party. Now it's very useful for him not to stand by Israel because his government is full of pro-Palestinian supporters. So it is useful for him and his job not to support Israel now. And that's the hit is. Why isn't he standing up and condemning Islamist extremism in this country? Why do we have a Home Secretary who was pretending she cares about what's happening, but has actually marched in pro-Palestinian marches in the past? This woman had supermarkets closed who was stocking Israeli goods. Do we really trust her to sort this problem out? No.
There's another clip, sorry about this, everyone behind the scenes, but there is another clip there, I want to make this point, of the bloke in Camden who had the kind of megaphone, who was playing the music, playing this song. These are people who were just going about their business. It looks like they're just trying to get a sandwich or a kebab towards the end of the night. He's got the old typical kind of tea cloth across the face stuff. Look at this. This is everywhere. It's just a load of people just trying to order a sandwich after a night. This nutter just turns up, starts blasting out, which, by the way, one source has told me is a song that is used by Hamas, and just starts screaming in people's faces.
But they can get away with it because they're being allowed to.
But the guy's just a thug. This is rent a mob. The guy's just a thug. These aren't people who really care about what's happening in Gaza. These people who just like going out and, you know, and being thuggish. You know, this is rent-a-mob stuff. We shouldn't tolerate it. And ultimately, as a country, our government should say that we stand with countries who share our values. Israel is a democracy. Israel is a country that has stood up to terrorism. They are shared values. Israel is a country that has dozens of its people still held as hostages by Hamas. And these people, what I'd say to these people, when did it become a rule of warfare that if you start a war that you subsequently, you know, go on to lose, that the sympathy should be with you? Hamas is the aggressor. It started the war on October the 7th. Our sympathies should not lie with Hamas.
Quite, but I mean, can I say, I am very, very, very concerned about what, especially this that took place this weekend, shows beyond any doubt, Benjamin, about what is going on in our country. And can I also just say as well, there is a line that I've just come across this. This is going to be in tomorrow's Daily Telegraph, which is that neighbours of this terrorist, Jihad al-Shawami, are claiming that they warned police about him.
That's right.
His wife as well.
With one of them, he's a bigamist.
Right. One of his wives has come out and reportedly said that he spoke about joining ISIS and made her watch extremism videos. She didn't report to the police. She didn't report him to the police.
But
remarkable.
The neighbours of Jihad said that during COVID he seemed to change as a person, and that he would have
a lockdown victim.
He would have meetings in his back garden, and they would overhear it. And the woman that lived next door became so alarmed that she says that she contacted Greater Manchester Police. Now, Greater Manchester Police say that they don't have a record of that complaint, but clearly the neighbours had become sufficiently alarmed. So did anyone else in his life notice this? But what I'd say from that video you just showed of someone attacking or insulting, abusing what appears to be a stranger, is that shows that the anti-Semitic genie is out of the bottle, right? Last Thursday was the worst murder of Jews in this country since 1650, when they were readmitted. Now, can any of us look at the last few weeks and say that we think it'll be another 400 years without such an atrocity happening? Because I don't think we can say that.
Where's Gary Neville on this?
Well, not going to say. But, you know, 2 weeks ago, Keir Starmer recognised the Palestinian state. What did he think was going to happen? Because all of us said at the time that would embolden people who hate Jews to take violent, savage action, and that's exactly what's happened. And we don't have Starmer condemning it. We have Starmer saying to people, take a step back. We have our Home Secretary saying, don't be insensitive. Why are they
We've
banning them?
imported millions of people from countries who hate the Jews, and we've just been told everything's going to be absolutely fine. Well, shock horror, it is.
These marches, make the laws that have these marches banned.
This is how anti-Semitism took over the Labour Party during Corbyn's time as leader. I know, I was in Parliament at the time. They didn't come out and say, we are an anti-Semitic party, even though they were found to be in an independent report. It was just that they tolerated it. It was a bit of nudge, nudge, wink, wink, it's all right in the Labour Party. And I think that, to some extent, has been mirrored by the messaging of Keir Starmer's government. You have the recognition of Palestine, which is a reward to Hamas for this appalling terrorism act committed on October the 7th. You have a failure of our Prime Minister and ministers to call out this thuggery and hate marches that we see on the streets nearly every single week. They are, you know, by default, encouraging anti-Semitism, I believe. Just
before we go to the giveaway, I just want to put something to Benjamin. There is another clip. There's the bloke who appears to be a foreign guy who is asked about, you know, he says F Israel. I don't know if you might be able to bring it up. F Israel. And then he's asked quite categorically about what do you make of the Jewish people that were killed. Right, and here it is. Have a look at this.
Camera, my good sir. Free Palestine. Israel. It's good. Thank you. And how do you feel? Recently there was an attack on a synagogue. And I don't know, man. No speak about this. Thank you. No.
What benefit is that bloke to Britain?
Well, there's certainly a selective muteness. The only point I would make is that you talk about sending back to countries that they may or may not have come from. Actually, the truth is, and the ribbon cutter illustrates this, white middle-class people have been what have put this in the mainstream. And so the idea that it's people from other countries that have driven this, actually, you know, there's a lot of people who look like us that have found a tolerance.
But Mr Jihad was originally from Syria.
At that march a lot of the people on the march on Saturday were hiding behind the thing that was saying, it's because of genocide. Well, not anti-Jewish, it's because of the genocide that's happening. It's not, it's because they're anti-Jewish. It's really as simple as that.
The next government should have 3 top priorities: deportation, deportation, deportation.
Right, OK, there you go. Yeah, strong stuff.